Hello everyone. Today we have very special guest with us with the name of Adrian Weatherill. His LinkedIn profile says, "Dare to be different." And that struck me. And I have invited him to speak at my channel, Behta, Pani, that why is it important to be different? What it is actually to be different. He's a motivational speaker. He also works with mental health, mental wellness. So I thought let's have a chat with him. So I invited him to my channel. Welcome Adrian to my channel.
Thank you very much, Rahim. Thank you for such a lovely introduction. And thank you so much for inviting me on your channel. This is it's very special for me. So I'm very honored.
Thank you. Thank you. So he's joining us from London, and I'm in Calgary, and mostly all audience is from Pakistan and India. So it's a unique way, and I've seen it on your profile as well that you have traveled a lot and you have lived in 4 continents. Let's start with being different. What it is when you say being different or unique, what it is.
Well, that's an absolutely excellent question, Rahim. What is it to be different, and why do we use that word different? Usually it's a comparison. So different from what? This is the important thing. Yeah, you can't just be different. Different instills in as a description in you that you are different from something else. Yeah. So we have to first establish what is the constant that you are being different from. It's almost like if you're a scientist. I was never a scientist, so if I get this wrong, apologies to all you scientists out there. But you always have the control subject.
Yes.
And then you see the differences with the experiment.
Yes, that's true.
So that's just it. So what is the control here? What is the normality? What is it that society or a nation or culture does that you are then going to be different from? That is where the question arises. So first decide on, well, which part am I going to be different in? Is it going to be my job? Is it going to be my hobbies? Is it going to be in the way I dress, my fashion, my culture, my personality? What are you doing? Ask yourself, what are you doing that is different from everybody else? Or have you decided, and there's nothing wrong with it, have you decided that you enjoy and agree with and acquiesce with the norm, the control, as it were? We're all different, and we have to decide where we feel.
Where we are. Which is the direction you want to go.
Yes, you have to be honest with yourself, always, Rahim, and everybody says this, but it can actually be really hard to do is to take a good look in the mirror and say, well, do I agree with everything that I have been immersed in potentially since birth? Do I want to follow what my family have done before me? What my neighbors are doing around me, what my colleagues at school and college and university are doing? Or do I want to look somewhere different? Do I agree with what they're doing? And do I like what they're doing? Or am I seeking something else? And this is where, as my phrase is on LinkedIn, my catchphrase is dare to be different, because it does take an element of courage to do this. The minute you have decided to step away, to walk away, to do something that is going to be different to what everybody else is doing, everyone's heads are going to be looking at you and going, "What? Hang on, why are you doing that?"
Yeah, this is not normal.
This is not normal behavior. Yeah. And then again, we go back to basics. Look at psychology, chapter 1, book 1, page 1, line 1. The 2 most important things to human beings generally is, so yes, the 2 things of psychology, of basic human psychology, is we want to be right, and we want to be liked. And those 2 things are interlinked. When we are doing something that everybody else is already doing, then we know we're going to be liked. Because we're doing something that society has said we are right. We've chosen this way. That's why we're all
admired by people.
Exactly. You know that you have the phrase, well, 1,000 people or 1 million people are doing it. How can they all be wrong?
Yes.
That's it. They can be wrong, and history will bear that out.
Sure, yeah, like a lot of examples, yeah.
So this is the important point is, do we have enough courage to be different, to dare to be different? You see, nice. What are we, what do we believe in? If we believe there's another way to the way we have been taught, there's nothing wrong in that. And actually, this is how human beings throughout history, since the dawn of time, since the dawn of evolution, or whatever you believe in, it's how we have got to where we got. We're going to the moon and Mars and everywhere else because we dare.
Yeah, that's true.
We have dared to do it because if we're going to be normal human beings, we're just going to stay right where we are because it's nice and safe. I like staying here. No, because it's safe. Oh, why would I risk myself going into a rocket of billions of pounds worth of gas, and I know I'm going into a rocket that could blow up because you dare, not because it's right.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
necessarily, and not because it's easy. Those astronauts could stay at home, become farmers, I don't know, become businessmen, whatever.
That's important.
Yeah, but they have dared to say, there's another way. There's possibilities, and I dare to seek those possibilities, even if I may have to pay the ultimate price.
That's true.
So going back to your original question, this is what it is to be different.
Yeah, we're different. Let me ask, so when you were speaking, it stuck to my mind that when we say like we are being different from something else or someone else, let's say I want to be different from my parents, but then I want to be liked or admired by a group of people which I am working with. So again, I'm getting different from something else, but I'm again joining a group where I'm not different anymore.
That is another great point that in fact happens to me, and it probably happens to every child, every adolescent, every teenager, every 20-something with their parents. Is the sort of my dad used to look at some of the clothes I used to wear and he used to do, why are you just following the crowd and wearing that leather jacket or whatever, that ripped t-shirt with that band on. And there is irony here, because I wanted to be different, and yet in being different, I was just being the same.
Yeah, you're following someone.
Yeah, and you cannot help this. You cannot help this. As human beings, by and large, all we are doing when we say we are being different, and I own up to this completely, is you are simply adjusting your tribe. You are brought up in a tribe. You are brought up with a tribal culture of that particular tribe, be it your family, the neighborhood, the community at large. At some point, you may decide, actually, this isn't all I want. I want something completely different. And you will go and seek that other tribe, the other tribal culture to be part of. You are not being totally different. You cannot be completely alien to human society. You would literally be an alien. So, so all you're doing is you're simply changing your tribe. And that is all I seek to do as well. Even though I say dare to be different, I'm daring to be different from the tribe that I originated from.
Yeah, that's true. But coming to my next question, why is it important to be different? We say that we should be different or dare to be different, but why is it important?
Well, Rahim, I think it's important to at least be open to being different. I don't think we need to force ourselves. But I think we always need to give ourselves the opportunity to have an open mind to looking at life differently, to looking at life with different perspectives. When we're brought up in the tribe that we're born into, our family, our school, our college, our neighborhood, we only have that perspective. Yeah. We only have their perspective that we have inherited or we take on.
Yes.
Now, it would really benefit all of us if we can at least accept that there could be another perspective. So just because your family said, well, this is the truth, and we know it to be true because we've lived it, and I absolutely respect that completely. I'm not going against that at all. Yeah, so we're not talking right and wrong here.
Yeah.
Perspectives are not actually necessarily about right and wrong. A perspective is simply a perspective. We can look at anything and say, well, I think that color's blue. Yeah, but someone else's perspective may be that it's aquamarine.
Yeah.
You're both right.
Happens with my wife all the time.
Well, yeah, trust me, I know that too. You're both right. Well, no, actually, your wife is right.
Yes.
Yeah, I've learned that as well. But do you see my point?
Yeah.
So you can both be right. So being different isn't necessarily wrong.
Wrong, yeah. All right.
All right, exactly. But here is the issue: is that many people are entrenched in their points of view, and they believe that what they believe is right, and there can be no other viewpoint.
Yeah.
So when you dare to be different and have a different perspective, those people, as you said earlier, people say, "What are you doing? This isn't normal." Yeah. It is normal, actually. It is perfectly normal. And they have to change their view. You cannot be scared. You must not be afraid. You have to dare, but have the courage to dare, because people will say that you are wrong. You are not wrong. You just simply have a different perspective. You have opened your mind a little wider than they have.
That's true. That's true.
And we mustn't be afraid of this.
That's true. Like, so when we talk about like not be afraid of it, and then we talk about how to be different. But like these days, like the students, in general, I'm doing seminars for students as well, and I'm getting a lot of requests for mental health issues as well. So absolutely. I think when they try to be different, or when they try to conform to their self in a new tribe or in even an existing tribe,
yes,
they find like a lot of stress.
Yes,
and the stress level is increasing now in 21st century, and every year we are seeing more suicides, more deaths, more stress levels in students. So as a student, like what would you advise a student, or like how do you see this whole situation?
Okay, so this is really serious when you're talking about suicides, and especially with the young people, the new generation. At that particular age, and I do remember being that age and going through similar feelings. You are at a particular physiological time, biologically, chemically, mentally, emotionally. At that particular stage of life, usually in your teens, this is going to be a period of tumultuous upheaval. And I think that if you could tell the students who are listening to this, you need to be aware that this is happening. And you need to be aware that you're going to have incredibly different feelings and emotions. It's going to be a roller coaster. Be aware of that and accept that this is going to be with you for a little while. This is nothing to be afraid of. This is nothing to run from. This is nothing to fight.
That's great.
And all you're going to have this turmoil inside you about, you're going to have a million things on your mind. Where do I go? Where am I going after I finish studying? I'm seeing new things. I'm around new colleagues. I'm around new friends, and I'm learning new things. And my mind is being expanded. At the same time, I've got my family telling me that I shouldn't do this. I must do this. And you're having these little conflicts in your head. In fact, they're not little, they're huge conflicts in your head. And then you're wondering really if you can stand the pressure that you are putting yourself under. And you need to take a step back if you can. And I'm not saying this glibly. I know it's always easier said than done.
Yeah, that's true.
Always. And I appreciate that greatly. But if you can, if you are able, you need to try and take that pressure off yourself by simply saying, this is a particular period in my life, and I need to try and glean as much as I can, take as much as I can from this period of my life, because it isn't going to last forever. I promise you it's not going to last forever.
That's true.
You are at an incredible moment where in that period of time, especially in education, you are taking in so much information. It's an onslaught of information. And I'm not talking about information just from the books. Information from your society, from your tribes, from other tribes, from your mind. Your brain is on fire. All the neurons are firing. And you've got all this information that you are trying to process. It's like being in the Matrix, and downloading all that information. Yeah. And we have to appreciate that is exactly what is happening.
Yes.
For a lot of students, not for all, but for a lot of students, that is how they feel. They're cramming all this information. They're trying to achieve what they have been told they are there to achieve.
Yeah.
You are at college, you are at university to achieve this.
Yeah.
It's going to be 3 A's, or it's going to be a first, or whatever. Yeah.
And then the decision making, like what you will do in your careers, like that decision making is so I think stressful for many, that they find themselves and like not making a decision at all, or just go with the flow.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now, here is the thing, and I know what I'm about to say is going to be very, very, very divisive. A lot of parents have expectations of their children. When I say a lot, that's an understatement. Most, if not all. And this has to be addressed. Maybe not in this particular show, in another show we can do, but at some stage this needs to be addressed. Especially when we're talking about mental health of students and young people, because that forms part of the pressure that is unnecessary at this particular moment in a young person's life. The parents don't do it intentionally as such. They're not trying to hurt. Of course they're not. You're their child. They're not trying to hurt or even break you or punish you. It's not a punishment. They're worried. They're scared. Yeah. They're scared for you. They're scared of the uncertainty of your life because they have uncertainty in their lives. They have already seen the mistakes that they have made, and they don't want you to fall into the same trap.
Intentions are good, but
the intentions are good. And there's another famous phrase which says the way to hell is paved with good intention. And I always remember this phrase, and we should be very, very careful. So listen, if you are feeling that pressure from parents, from family, I appreciate what you're going through, but you need, if you can, and it's easier said than done, as I said before, but you need to realize this is your moment. This is for you. This is not for them. They are not living your life. You are living your life. And you're going to encounter so many different, going back to the word different, so many different things, so many different ways of thinking, so many different trains of thought. You're going to have so many different ideas. Do your best. Just do your best for you to filter all of the information you're getting from all of your senses, your sight, your smell, your touch, your hearing, everything, and try to piece together where you fit in. You may have gone to college or university because your parents wanted you to become a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. Is it what you want to do? Do you know what you want to do? I was, and I, to a certain point, I still am jealous of people that knew what they wanted to do from 8 years of age. Yeah. That must be wonderful to know. You're like, I've got this goal, I've got this target, that's what I want to do. That's wonderful. I never had that. I never had it.
Not many people have it.
No, well, this is part of being different, because a lot of people said to me, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I don't know. Yeah. And I said, well, why don't you know? And that was really where I started to learn, I'm different, aren't I? How come I don't know and everyone else knows? 16 people knew I want to be I want to be an archaeologist, I want to be a politician, I want to be that's wonderful. And I'm a little bit jealous for you, but I'm very happy for you. I don't have that. I'm not sure. I still need to try new things. I still need to have all my senses and find out where it is that I belong. And I think that students need to take that on board. Do not be afraid to be different and say, no, I am not sure that this is what I want to do. And let me say this as well. Your life is not completely and totally controlled by those 2, 3, 4, 5 years at college or university. You can leave those halls of education and you can go and do something completely different with your life. Be different in that regard. Try, if there's one thing that I think anybody should learn at school and college, if they can, more important than anything else that you read in a book, it is self-belief. Self-belief. Believe in yourself. If you have the intelligence to have even got there.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's
yourself. You can do it.
That's quite important to know. I think everyone listening to this, even in my seminar, the always emphasize was that you have to know, or you have to be careful what you think of yourself. That's the most important thing, I think. So any last thoughts, Adrian? We discussed what it takes to be different, why it is important to be different, and as a student, why it becomes normal to be different, and it should be accepted as being different. So any last thoughts on the whole episode of this? Very
simply, be yourself, because there's nobody else like you on the planet. And that is enough. Different. That is it, exactly right. You are automatically different. Just celebrate that fact.
Yes. So thank you. Thank you, Adrian, for joining us at Behta Pani. So in the end, I always say in my videos that be happy and enjoy the surprises of life, because life is full of surprises and we should enjoy it.
Absolutely.
So thank you for taking your time.
Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting me on your show. It's an absolute pleasure.